As I look back on this season of my life, whether you want to call it 2021, where almost 3 months have already passed, or if you want to even just take this entire past year with COVID, as it's been nearly over a year, or but just about a year since lockdown began, I just can't help but think how thankful and how grateful I am because God has done so many things in my life and has blessed me as well as allowed me to go through difficult seasons for a reason and for a season, right? And so I want to just encourage you guys with this because so many of us are going through different seasons of life, and these seasons can be good seasons, seemingly, it could be bad seasons, seemingly, and you could be in a drought, you can be in abundance, you can be in a season of legalism, you can be in a season of pain, of suffering, of many different things, right? And oftentimes these are seasons that God preordained. And what I mean by that is, though there are times where God wouldn't want you to go through certain things because maybe you brought it on yourself, maybe there was a sin, maybe there was, some sense of a prodigal son type of mentality that you were running away, that God allows you to go through a season. Oftentimes, God preordains and knows what you are going to be going through. And often those seasons are some of the best seasons, especially if we look back and really understand and meditate on what God may have done in us and in our heart. And I talk a lot about how the condition of our heart is so important, how we want to be able to reflect on what God is doing to mold us and shape us and refine us. But it only benefits us if we meditate on it, if we understand what that is as much as possible, right? And we can't know for sure everything, but in meditation and in hindsight and reflection, be able to learn from it, change, and then move forward in a positive way. And so I just want to bless you guys and encourage you guys with this because a lot of us are going through something and we don't really understand it. We may not necessarily agree with it. We may think that it isn't even God ordained, but it is. God allows it sovereignly to happen. And though you may be in sorrow, though you may be in pain through it, or though you may be blinded, and oftentimes, yes, God can cover your eyes from something until a certain time. It's all being done so that you can understand the brevity, you can understand the gravity, you can understand the enormous impact it will have later on. And even as I reflect, several years ago when I was going through a tough time, I thought to myself, when is this going to be over? When is this going to be a time where I can get out of, this jail, this prison that I was in? And even as I reflect on that, I couldn't be more thankful for the amount of time and how much and how long God had put me through a situation, because otherwise I wouldn't have the desire, the fire, the perseverance, and the character that I have even now. And that's being done for our good. And if you're going through something like that, you know what I mean, because you've been honed, you've been in an attitude where you can see more clearly, you can understand something far better than you would have if you didn't go through that circumstance or that situation. So I just want to encourage you guys with this, because many of us, unless we really think about it and pray, Lord, what is it that you're teaching me? What is it that you're allowing me to go through in this season? We can't really understand it. And so many of us, we look on a season and we just want to get it over with, and we just kind of bury it. And we don't even think about what the Lord was doing to teach us in that moment and in that season. But it would only benefit us if we even pray that, Lord, what is it that you were trying to reveal to me? What is it that you were trying to teach me? Because so many of us, we passed through a golden opportunity, a golden moment where we went through some kind of issue, some kind of blessing, some kind of thing, but we responded incorrectly. We didn't really reflect correctly, such that we forgot about God. We forgot about his blessings. And that happened with the Israelites, right? Many of them forgot that the God who delivered them out of Egypt, the God that did so many of these miracles, winning battles, and giving the law, the Mosaic law, they just forgot and they went and did their own thing. And so I just want to encourage you guys, because many of us don't take that time to really reflect, because we're in a season now where we're turning the page and God is allowing new things, new opportunities, new doors to be open. And unless you seize that new moment, that new door, and walk through it with as much of your understanding and the lessons learned of this past season and take with you those blessings and those encouragements, you can't really fully go through this next season with, with the best that God has for you. And so I just want to encourage you guys, whether you may not, meditate, whether you may not journal even, pray, obviously, you need to be praying, but you have to be able to dialogue that and do that with the Lord. And it's also helpful to do that with other people because you want to be able to look back and say what God was teaching you. And even if you share that with a close friend, a family, your church community, it helps all the more because if we don't reflect on the season and why God may have put us through something and even verbalize it and write it out even, then it will be more difficult for you to look back on that season and say, what is it that God was really doing for me? Because it could just be events. It could just be the pain that you remember as opposed to the grace of God, the mercy of God, the love of God, and how he was really trying to teach you some life lessons, some Christ character moment, some God characteristic, some biblical moment or whatever it is, right? So just want to encourage you guys because I'm in a season now where I'm reflecting a lot and I'm just trying to think about what the Lord has for me in the future. And I'm thankful and I'm excited because he's going to use this, life that I have, the resources, the ministry and, the work and all of that for his good, for his glory. And so his timing is never wrong. His timing is never off. He's always going to be there and he always will allow you to go through something for a season and for a reason. And so I just want to encourage you guys with that because many of us are struggling. We're down in the dumps. We are, looking back, we're stepping back, we're not falling forward and getting up and whatever it is that we're going through, right? And I just want to encourage you guys with that because it begins with reflecting and thinking and giving it up to the Lord and just really thanking God for what he's allowing us to go through. So I just want to encourage you guys with that. If you don't do that already, please, I pray that you would. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys soon. Be blessed. And God bless you guys.